What's up, everyone? It's Q from Retro Q Gaming. This is another bad news video, and it's going to get progressively worse as we go along because there's going to be more anger and ranting and frustration as we get through the video, and it's just going to all build up. You'll understand why now in a few minutes anyway. So the reason why I have to make this video is because we've basically got a new entry in the massive ongoing chapter that is fucking incompetent developers and just the bullshit that is modern gaming that we live in. So we all know games and game quality in the performance aspect and the shady dealings and shit has gotten progressively worse, especially within the last, I don't know, maybe 4 or 5 years. So with the technical issues of games on both PC and console, as well as some just underhanded dealings in like pre-order DLC, season pass DLC, microtransactions, in-game stores, shit like that, that this will probably come to you as no surprise. So Deus Ex Mankind Divided released yesterday, and on PC it's a technical mess. Why is that not surprising in 2016? So I'm not going to compare it to Batman Arkham Knight. It's not that bad, but from what I hear, it is pretty bad. Haven't played it myself. My PC Collector's Edition did arrive yesterday. I redeemed a key on Steam, but because I'm back on my old crappy computer, I can't completely max the... Well, based on the technical issues, I might even not be able to max it out on my good computer when I get that fixed. But the fact is that I couldn't even technically meet the minimum or meet the recommended requirements, let alone exceed them on this computer. So I wasn't even going to try play it on here. But that's beside the point anyway. So I am interested in playing it, and I can't wait. Well, in general, I can't wait. But you know, with all the issues that we're going to talk about, there's two main issues that we're going to talk about anyway. But I'll get to them now in a second. The fact that, oh god, I get so angry at this shit. It's fucking ridiculous that a game can launch in 2016 after an extremely protracted development cycle with several lengthy monthly, not monthly, lengthy several month long delays. There you go. That's the better way of saying it. Because I remember this was supposed to come out back in February, and then it was delayed another couple of months. Originally, it was supposed to come out last year, then it was delayed to February, and then it was delayed another couple of months till August. And now it releases, and it's still a fucking mess. There's massive technical problems out there, even ranging from people with high-end hardware struggling on mid-range settings. Like some people were, okay, the game's a mess at the top setting, I'll drop it down one or two, and it's still a mess, which is a lot of the issues we're seeing. It's not all down to that. Even people that are running on modest hardware, running on appropriate settings for their hardware, are still getting terrible performance. Even people who are running with decent hardware, not top of the line, but you know, let's say mid-range, running with lower settings, are also receiving a lot of these issues. So one of the big things that seems to be broken, no matter how powerful your computer, is any type of MSAA seems to be just completely fucked out the window. I'm not sure. One thing I couldn't find if there was other types of MSAA. I don't know if they do anything like FXAA or TXAA in there. I couldn't really find any details on that. But the sheer fact that no matter what your hardware is, that even if you're using any type of MSAA at all, sure, you know, 8x MSAA is pretty demanding on hardware. The returns you get for it are pretty good and are usually worth it. But even if you've got good hardware and you're putting in one of the lower levels of MSAA on games, you should not be getting crippled like you are in this. And there's whole other problems. There's supposedly a whole issue with the lighting system, with the volumetric lights, that it just murders your game experience. And that's not to mention with all some of the filtering, the textures, just the general performance and hitches. Apparently there's a what would you call it, a common issue where, let's say you're running on top end hardware, but just for the sake of a bit of performance given a shitty port, that you're running on mid-range settings, the game still hitches now and again for a lot of people. Sure, some people won't have these issues at all. Some people will just ignore them or whatever, because it does look like it's a good game. I can't wait to play it. But just the fact that we're getting another entry in the fucking shit PC port is just unfucking acceptable. I fucking hate this. Like, why are we, as PC gamers who pay for these games as well, not only, in the case of Deus Ex Mankind Divided, on console, on Xbox One and PS4, these games both unlocked at midnight. On PC, living in Ireland, I personally had to, I won't say personally had to wait, but I personally noticed that the game didn't unlock until 5 p.m. that day. So we get the game nearly 24 hours later. It's ridiculous, 17 hours later to be precise. But it's just madness. As another testament to the actual performance of the game, I have a friend who bought the game yesterday. He has a GTX 1070 and he has an i7 4770K. He's got 16 gig RAM and solid state drive, blah 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 as well. But the main things are obviously the 4770K and the GTX 1070. Yeah, it does not run favorable for him at all. That's all I'll say. And he's playing at 1080p, mind you, so he is playing at a lower resolution than I would give my opinion on, and he's still not getting the best kind of performance and all as well. Given the fact it's a 1070 and the game recommends a 970 as its recommended settings, and the 1070 is a lot better. Yeah, it's not good enough, but it's just a load of fucking bullshit. And the fact that the game had been delayed for almost a year, several times, and this is still the quality of what we get. Now, Eidos and Square Enix they've put out like lists of possible, do this as a fix in the meantime, and to get around this kind of thing, do this. It's just unacceptable. I'm not even going to go over that list. The list is out there if you really want to find it, but it's a load of fucking bullshit that we even have to do that. Like, I'll give a list of one of them. It's like, play in windowed mode. So full screen doesn't work properly sometimes. So play in windowed mode to get a little bit better performance. It should be the other way around. It's supposed to get better performance in full screen, not just borderless windowed. But you're obviously playing at a lower resolution because you're playing in a smaller window. That's not full screen. So it's a load of crap that they can actually get away with this shit. And that they actually release it in this situation, and then they just go, we'll patch it later. Fuck them. They're a load of fucking cunts, that's all I'll say. I'm kind of raging I actually bought the collector's edition now. Simply because I don't want to support shit like this, because it happens way too often. I've cut other companies off in general, just completely, because of shit like this. As well as other shit too. But just because of shit like this, I have cut companies off, and I've fucking torn companies a new one, because of crap like this. And now, that brings me to the next point as well. We all know there was the whole issue and the whole debacle when Deus Ex first went up for pre-order. There was the augment your pre-order bonus, and it basically went with the amount of people that were pre-ordering, and you could pick your pre-order and get several different items, or you could get one of several different items basically, and that it was all down to how many people pre-ordered and shit like that. And we all know that caused an uproar back in the day. And then they changed it, and they said, we'll just give anyone who pre-orders it, we'll give them all the exclusive stuff that would have been from the augment your pre-order thing. So, between that and the extra bonuses from the season pass and all as well, they have all been, obviously the game is released, so they're all in your in-game storage. Not your inventory, but your actual in-game storage in Deus Ex Mankind Divided. Now, what wasn't made clear, and is generally not a standard for games like this. In fact, I think off the top of my head, I struggle to remember any other game that treats it like this. But in Deus Ex Mankind Divided, if you have a pre-order item or a season pass item in your storage, once you transfer that to your in-game inventory, that item is gone forever. Even if you start up a new different save file, it's gone forever because you've redeemed it on your one system or your one save file. So a lot of people are understandably upset about this because there was no prior notice about any of this as well. Like I said, this isn't a standard. Usually when you get a season pass or you get pre-order DLC or something like that, when you start a new file or anything like that, when you start a new save, you have it on that one as well. It's a count bound for every time you start up a new one. And I can't think of a game at all that treats it the same way that Mankind Divided does. Now, because of that, there was a massive outcry against it as well. And there's two or three reasons for it. I'll get into them now in a second. The first one was the fact that it wasn't conveyed at all, and that this, as I said, that this isn't a standard in games. So there's a Square Enix rep essentially for Eidos Montreal. They came out once all this just was made public, and he had this to say about the whole thing. It's like consumables, which are say praxis kits, ammo, credits, crafting parts, are one-time use items. They will be in the storage section of your inventory until you decide to add them to it. Once you do, they will be consumed in your current playthrough and not reusable. Consumables work the way they do due to first-party constraints. There are also durable items. Durables such as weapons, skins, augmentations are not one-time use. They will automatically be available in all of your playthroughs once you have downloaded and installed them. Now, so that's what Square Enix had to say, the PR rep had to say about all that. So, one thing I find that is extremely shady about this is they blame the whole system on first-party constraints. So it sounds like they're trying to blame Microsoft, Sony, and Steam. Okay, so it sounds like they're trying to blame that. It's like, oh, because of those three services and how their terms of service and all their constraints and all that, you know, we couldn't do that. Why does every other game allow why do those three systems allow every other developer to do that? Why do those three systems allow every other publisher with every other service, season pass, pre-order DLC, whatever? Why do they allow all the other ones to do it? So I think it's a load of bullshit. And what makes it worse is that all of that leads to the final point that I'm just going to make before I end the video. Deus Ex Mankind Divided, a single-player exclusive game, no multiplayer aspect whatsoever, has an in-game cash shop. And because it has an in-game cash shop, aka microtransactions, which you pay for with real money to buy stuff like, you can buy in-game credits, which are the money. There you can buy items and things like that there's a breach game that's included with it. It's kind of like a little multiplayer game where you can earn, not multiplayer, sorry, a little mini game where you can earn stuff for the main story as well, so you can boost your inventory and things like that for it. And you can buy praxis kits, which allow you to automatically upgrade your augmentations. Like, say you're at the start of the game, usually you might only have like one or two close to the start, and then suddenly, oh, you know, I want to buy 10 more praxis kits. And the fact that all of those are one-time use and consumable as well, it kind of lends credence to the fact that Square Enix, or well, Eidos Montreal specifically, possibly went the route of making all the system the way they did, with the whole one-time use based on your whole account, not just your one save or whatever. It sounds like they did that purposely, just so they could sell more crap, which I think is an absolute load of fucking shit, if you ask me. So I'm just, fuck them. That's all I say. Fuck them. I already have the game, so there's not much I could do about it. I do want to play it. I am going to play it once I get my good computer back up in action. It's going to be probably going to be a while, but I'm very disappointed. Very, very disappointed that just in everything in this video, the whole fucking, the way they handle the items and the technical aspect as well, it's just a load of fucking crap. We shouldn't have to deal with this shit. And I can't even tell people to vote with your wallet, because most people that are going to want to play this game have already paid for it. So it's like Watch Dogs syndrome. Now, I'm not saying it's a terrible game. I haven't played it, but let me rephrase that. I'm not saying Mankind Divided is a terrible game. I haven't played it, but it is the Watch Dogs syndrome, that we only find out about all this bullshit and all this crap after we've already paid for it. And at that point, there's not much we can do about it. So, I don't know, you can do whatever you want. You can boycott Square Enix, you can boycott Eidos Montreal. Personally, I still think Deus Ex Mankind Divided looks like a good game. I can't wait to play it once I get my shit back up and running. But it leaves me with a sour taste in my mouth. And I know I say that with every PC release, or just game release in general, because I know some console games release broken. But every time a new game releases broken, it just makes me more cynical, and it makes me lower my expectations for absolutely everything. And the problem with that is not just myself, but as a whole, gamers, our expectations eventually get so jaded and so low that the companies can release shittier and shittier products. And it's like, oh, well, we're expecting this at this point. You know, why am I surprised that this thing is a technical piece of shit, or they're screwing us over in every way, shape, or form? And then it just lowers again. and they release a worse product. So it's systematic of just gaming in general, and I fucking can't stand it. It pisses me off to no end. There needs to be some sort of regulation for this shit. That Microsoft and Sony, I know Microsoft had an old system on the Xbox 360 where they'd actually charge developers to patch games, and there was a significant charge. I believe it was tens of thousands of dollars. And because of that, games released less broken, because they'd realize, okay, hang on, we're gonna have to patch these if we just release them in this fucking mess of a state as they are. So they would actually develop them a bit better, develop them for a bit longer, and then they wouldn't have to lose a bit more money in the patching process. But obviously, with the upcoming, well, when the PS4 and Xbox One were upcoming, yeah, they did away with the whole fee. We can see why. The fact that almost every game releases broken and requires at least a day one patch. Yeah, it's the writing's basically on the wall. It's a load of crap, if you ask me. I just can't fucking stand them. Anyway, I'm ranting on about that point anyway. We'll just close it with this. It's pure bullshit that games like this are still releasing fucking broken. AAA developers, severely delayed release times, and they still can't get it right. As well as shady, underhanded fucking dealings. Bullshit. Shove it up your arse, Square Enix. Shove it up your arse, fucking EA. Shove it up your arse, fucking Ubisoft. Fucking Sony, fucking Microsoft. Fucking everyone. Fuck them all, that's all I say. It's a load of fucking bullshit. I can't fucking stand them. Anyway, let me know your thoughts on the whole, not just Mankind Divided specifically, but the technical issues that Mankind Divided faces, technical issues that games in general, especially PC games, face these days because of sheer development and publisher incompetence and just apathy because they're cunts. Let me know all that, as well as shady, underhanded shit from like the season pass and pre-order items that aren't re-redeemable and all that bullshit. Let me know all that in the comment section below. Hit the like button, hit the subscribe button. You can follow me on Twitter. Details in the description below. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the rest of the videos in my channel.